My name is Esther. My name is Esther. I'm a director of mechanical rookie relations.
My name is Christina. I'm also a director of mechanical rookie relations.
And my name's Leslie. I'm the assistant director of mechanical rookie relations.
Alright, to start off each year, our mechanical engineering department gets around 120 plus rookie signups. Most of the rookies come from zero experience with no background in first, and some of the things we teach them are tools and machinery. We teach them basic CADing skills on Onshape, the basics of principles of engineering. We teach them how to 3D print, and there's also specialized sub-department education where we teach them design, electronics, machining, which includes the CNC, Bridgeport lathe, and water jet. Then there's also field construction. And
if you guys want to look at our curriculum content, I have a QR code posted at the end, and you guys can just click on that link and I'll give you the whole entire doc to what we teach.
And how we normally do things is, first off, we start with our recruitment period, which is usually in the end of September or in the beginning of October. And then we have some basic instructions to kind of get them started. And alongside that, we have our rookie games running alongside our basic instructions. And then after everything is done, we have our sub-department education period, which is in December. And to just go into more detail, we have our recruitment during STUY's Clubs and Pubs Fair. And we also host interest meeting as well as a department interest meeting for mechanical, software, and business. And then we start our basic instruction alongside our rookie game. So we get rookies working as a team, and we get them hyped about robotics, and then alongside that, we let them build their mechanism. And while that is happening, we have lessons that teaches them tools, machinery, etc. So they have one day to work on their mechanism and then another day to kind of learn, and then they can incorporate that together. And then after rookie games are done, we have a sub-department, as I mentioned before, and this is where we go into more details about like the specific like sub-departments. And here's just kind of our schedule from, I believe, 2024 rookie ed.
That was 2025.
Yeah, this looks like.
Oh wait, no,
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. This looks like, wait, this is our 2025 schedule. So as you can see, in October we had our interest meetings, and then we also had our rookie game kickoff, and then we started lessons towards the end of October. And in November we continue on these lessons as well as rookie games. And towards the end of November we actually started sub-department presentations, and that continues on into December, and our rookie game also happens in December. And some of the feedback we got from past rookies, well, the first one was rookie game, newbie game overall was just really fun, but I wish my veteran didn't just leave us like some deadbeat dad. Okay. This was some feedback from 2024 season. We actually did not have this issue this past rookie ed, so that's great. Anyways, moving on. These next two were pretty similar. Basically, it was just less talking, more doing, and I think this year we try to incorporate as much doing as possible alongside our lessons. Obviously, there are some lessons where it's just impossible to get rookies on to kind of do hands-on stuff without them building a whole robot. And yeah, and then here's the last comment where it's like better and more consistent teaching, being engaging. And some of the major issues we have with rookie ed over the past couple of years was that, first of all, there was a population constraint. There was too many people coming into the lab and not enough space in the lab to hold everyone. And we're going to go into the solutions in a bit on how to solve these issues. Second one was that there was a loss of interest. A lot of rookies complained that it was too, like, our curriculum was a little bit boring, so that they didn't see a reason to keep coming into these lessons. And the teaching quality was also not as great before, and there was too much information that needs to be taught, and we didn't have that. There was a very short amount of time which we needed to teach them, which didn't really help the rookies attain the information, and that really made them not want to come.
Anyways, the first thing we're going to talk about is population management. So like we mentioned before, we have a lot of members coming in. This is like over 120 members. So we split them up into 2 cohorts, and within these cohorts, we also have smaller groups, and each group is assigned to certain veterans. So this creates like a small little community for them, so they can like really get higher quality lessons. Yeah, and structuring our schedule around these cohorts, we'll have one cohort in the lab and the other cohort in a room, and they'll switch between the lab and the room. So this allows them to like learn a lesson from when they're in a room, and then applying that in the lab. And in the rooms, we have lessons like Principles of Engineering, CAD Education, and 3D Printing. These are all like sit-down lessons, so like it's all slide-based. While the ones in the lab are like Tool Education, Machining, and the Newbie game like days to work on their actual mechanisms. So these involve using actual lab tools and machines, which need like mentors to be there because safety. Yeah. So this is like what our schedule looks like. Yeah, you can see like the cohorts alternating between labs and rooms, and it's just like a rough outline of what we want them to learn, and like assignments that are due, like homeworks and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and as you can see in the picture, like these are all like slide based, so there'll be a slide and we can bring like tools and stuff over to like show them stuff. We also have Google Classroom to like keep everything organized and posting announcements about what their schedules are going to be, homeworks, different assignments, and stuff like that. Oh, and also on Google Classroom. Oh wait, sorry.
How much like homework do you do? What sort of like things like do the rookies have to do?
Okay, so basically we had like a really big debate about that earlier in the season. We were like, okay, so do we want this to be like a classroom where we just give them a bunch of homework and then a bunch of these newbies quit because they don't want to do something that's like school, after school? So what we usually do is that we have them do mostly CAD homework, so that would be like, following the Onshape curriculum that's online, posted by Onshape. That'd be like, making a basic sketch of something, or making like a Lego extrusion. Like, we have them make like extrude Legos into like a part studio, and then just make an assembly of that. That's one of the assignments that we have for them. And we try to make them not as mandatory, just because, like, again, we don't want it to be like school, but we want these news to gain experience. So we very, very highly recommend that they do them.
Yeah. Okay, continue on. So like on Google Classroom, you can create like different groups. You can separate the students into different groups, which is really neat to like really organize the different cohorts and different groups, so that if there's an announcement specifically for one cohort, you can announce that to only that cohort. Okay, and number 2, more hype. So this year we have WiffleWorks, which is a competition that we made up for rookies to engage in. So we use what we have from Reefscape on the field to create this new field, and there's like, we use dollies and wiffle balls, which are like stuff we have in the lab, and create like a whole point scoring situation for them. Just more engaging. Okay, so as I mentioned before, they're split up into multiple groups, so that they can like really get involved in working on the different mechanisms. All these stuff that they'll be using in the lab are like materials in the lab, like wood, polycarb, and all the different tools in there. So they really get to like actually work with the different tools while they're creating their mechanisms, and also it helps them with like strategy design and like innovations because of like the point scoring systems and all the materials that they have available for them. Yeah. They're broken into teams of 8 to 12 members. So each of them get to really work on their mechanisms. So in the past with the rookie games, usually it's just like an intake that they're holding it in. They're not actually using their mechanism for anything, and it's just a presentation, so it's not as fun. But with this year, we have an actual competition for them to really engage in, and the mechanism is actually used for something. So, like, veterans are also involved with, like, scorekeeping and, like, being referees, doing MC stuff. And it's just, like, so much more fun, and it fosters team spirit. So it really, like, keeps the rookies in the team.
We'll play like maybe like 30 seconds of the
Yeah.
Because they'll probably give you the idea of what we're doing.
If this is okay.
Well, I don't think sound is so good, but as you can see, we basically just like have a whole game manual of rules for them that they follow. And then they queue outside in like that doorway you see. There's a whole queue line out there, and then there's spectators on the side. And we have these matches work as normal FRC matches do. So we have MCs, referees, and we also have human players. We have drive team. So like the people on the drive team would be obviously the human player, 2 kids to operate the motors. We use Sims this year. Just some of the past Sims that we like scratched up from our old games. But yeah, we tried to make it as engaging as possible for the newbies. So we see like a lot of like getting into strategy, really like having fun like playing the game, and like getting really, really hyped up about like winning, because we do like 1v1 style tournament matches. So this was highly improved from last year. But yeah, this is basically basic rundown of how our game works.
And like this really simulates an actual competition, so this really gets them prepped for when the season actually starts. Let's continue.
All right, so solution 3, teaching quality. So again, because we had like a lot of less hands-on lessons last year, we saw a lot of people leaving just because they thought like robotics is boring, and if you're here, you obviously think it's not. So we try to teach them that side of robotics. So first of all, we just want to talk about like, I think separating rookies into different cohorts and different groups was vastly helpful for us, just because we have like 120 people coming into our lab. Like you can't just teach all of them with like a single lecture. Like that's not going to happen. You want to kind of split them into groups and make sure they're like all like on track with each other and they're all on the same page. And it's a little bit more manageable if you do it like this. So whenever your group struggle, veterans jump in to foster communication. So like the role of like kind of me, Christina, and Leslie, what we do is when groups are working in the lab, we'd walk around and kind of make sure that people are engaged. Like this year, we had we want to specifically target women in STEM, because I know like women in STEM is like a huge issue for FRC, robotics, engineering in general. So like whenever we'd see maybe like some girls being like a little on the quieter side, while like other people in the group, they kind of take a bigger role, we try to kind of make sure we delegate tasks to every person in the group to make sure they felt engaged. And I think just like small things like that very, very essential to making sure that everybody feels kind of communicated with and engaged in Newbie Ed. We also want to give veterans a lot of opportunities. Like a big part of Newbie Ed is making sure that your veterans are engaged and that they're kind of working together to make sure that like they have like a sense of responsibility for Newbie Ed too, and them caring about Newbie is what we really, really want. So we made sure that we have all the material set up for them, made it really, really easy for a lot of veterans to join Newbie Ed. We host meetings to review lesson material so that they all know what they're doing for that lesson, and they're all communicated with when they're teaching lessons or when they're kind of mentoring their newbie groups. And then we also have Slack channels to answer any questions that arise. So those are like kind of the 3 main ways 3 main solutions we use to manage that. And then you also want to understand what lesson format is best for when you're teaching. So obviously there's observation demos. So let's say like I want to teach drilling. A bunch of kids just watch me drill into a piece of wood. That's kind of it.